welcome to this video on how to sell as a leader presented by collegegradlife.com. Now, we're going to talk about why it's so important to be a seller before we get to the techniques of how to sell. Number one, it's important to be a selling leader because it motivates your team. Your team wants to follow you when they know that you're really enthusiastic about something. So if you can sell them on a concept, product, or service, it's going to help them follow you as a leader. When you're talking to a prospect as a salesperson, it's really going to motivate them to build that relationship with you for future sales, which is so crucial and so important. Now, the number two reason it's important to really be selling as a leader is because there's not always the perfect situation. Sometimes your prospect or your client doesn't like your company, but they may like you, which is why it's so important for you to be selling as a leader to help build that relationship on a personal level, regardless how they feel about your company. Now, as a team, there's fluid dynamics, and if you're the leader of the team, sometimes people can become less respected, or people can get into arguments. If you can help be that shield for that person who may be less respected at the time, to help bring their idea forward, you're going to build confidence in you and that person and help have a more cohesive team. Now, the number three reason it's so important to be a selling leader is because it helps build your self-confidence, and that's what's really important. It helps build the self-confidence in you with your client and prospect and with your team, and you're going to feel the motivation to go out there and sell. And that's actually why the number one thing that you can have when you go out and sell is self-confidence. No one wants to buy from a shy salesman or a blushing milkman. What you need to have is the self-confidence to go out there and chase after those leads to get that closed. The number two thing that is really going to help you be a seller, and this is most important, share empathy. Share the pain and discomfort of your client and your team to reach your objective and solution. That's what it's all about. If you can sell the remedy for their pain or discomfort, they're going to want to buy that product because they need that product. And your team is going to follow you because they're going to realize that you know in the end it's going to be better for them to do this than it would be for them to not. Now, the number three thing, and actually one of the most important ways for you to think about selling as you go out to either a prospect or your team, is to be selling enthusiasm. You're sharing enthusiasm as a seller. You're going out there and you're expressing how good, how much quality, how much value this prospect or client is getting out of it. So the only reason they could say no is if they find something that gives them more, but you're not going to let that happen because your enthusiasm is infectious and it's going to make your customer or your prospect want to just be invited into your enthusiasm and say yes to your product right there. And it works the same with your team. Your enthusiasm for a new product, service, or idea is going to help motivate them to follow you into the future. Now, these three things are going to help you be the best selling leader possible. And that's why it's so important for you to really internalize them. You can watch this video again. Down below, what I have a link to a video that is on collegegradlife.com on ways to make millions, what all billionaires do. We talked about it in this video, but I don't know if you noticed it. So click on the link below and you can go watch that video. And it talks about Bill Gates, Richard Branson, and Steve Jobs, and the one thing that they all do together that is similar, but just a little bit different.